The second rule of a private investor says, always remember and know about the 5 commandments of a private investor. Many would ask, why 5 commandments? These are the same rules, but sometimes people break the rules. When a person stops breaking those rules, they become commandments. So the first commandment of a private investor is, always put aside 10% of your income. You should always put aside 10% of the income that you make. And one of the main goals of this commandment is to become a saver. Always be able to put aside 10% of your income. You earned today, let's say, $100. Put aside $10. You earned $1, put aside 10 cents. You may have earned today $1,000. Save $100 today. This is one of the main tasks on your way to financial independence and freedom. The second commandment is, always control your revenues and expenditures. This is a very important element. Imagine you have a small or a large dog, nice and fluffy. It loves you, greets you when you come home, and then you stop feeding it. You do not feed it for 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. What happens to this dog? At best, it will take a dump on your bed, do something nasty. In the worst case, it can bite you and maybe even eat you because it is hungry. That's the way it works with money. As soon as we stop following and adhering to the second commandment, that is when we stop controlling the revenues and expenditures. Money starts eating the person and goes away to another owner. So why is it so important? Look, an average person has about 1, 2 or maximum 3 sources of income, and about 8, 10 or as many as 12 sources of expenditures. That is why it is always important to adhere to the second commandment of a private investor, which says, always control your revenues and expenditures. Always recognize your revenues and expenditures. The third very important commandment is, protect your money from losses. You must always protect your money from losses. Imagine you saved an X amount of money, you control your revenues and expenditures. And then suddenly someone comes in and simply says, lend me some money. Many people are likely to be familiar with this situation, and sometimes people borrow that money, or even worse, invest it somewhere and lose it. That is why you should always protect your money from losses. Learn to protect your money from losses. The fourth commandment is, learn how to invest. Dear friends, investing is a unique thing. You know, there are 7 wonders of the world on the planet Earth. And the wise man once said, there is an 8th wonder of the world, the wonder of compound interest. So, to learn how to invest is to understand how your money grows from year to year. And I'll give you a simple example. If you start putting aside $1 each day, 30 days later it will be $30. 10 years later, it will be $3,600. And 30 years later, it will be $10,800. But if, beginning from the second month, you start investing correctly at an average of 12% of capital gains per year, then exactly 30 years later, you will have $108,000. Picture this. You put aside only $10,800 to be invested, and your money increased by more than $90,000. That's why you need to learn all the time. And the fifth important commandment of a private investor is, always learn how to earn more in order to increase your assets. Your assets must always grow. You must always learn to earn more. Some people say, I want to learn how to earn a lot first, and then I'm going to learn how to invest. Dear friends, no, absolutely no. You should always follow the first rule. Put aside 10% of all your income. The second important rule is to control your revenues and expenditures, to protect your money from losses. Learn how to invest, and only then comes the fifth rule. Learn how to earn more in order to increase your capital. And let me tell you one important thing. It doesn't matter how much you lose. A small amount, say $10, or a big one, like $10,000. You lose them the same. And in the same way, money is multiplied, be it $10, $10,000, or $100,000. That is why the fifth commandment of a private investor is very important out of all 5 commandments. And in the next video, we'll talk about how to make your financial plan. Because after you pick the right financial plan, you will get to your wealth quicker, to your million, of which you may be dreaming. See you in the next video.